Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. You found it. This is Daily Dose Radio, your underground source for daily, fresh, organic Bible study. Now, I told you on Monday that, when I read Weiser's quote that this is authentic and powerful and notable and all the rest, this psalm is just beautiful. Moses sets out for us the relationship between God and man. He puts in very clear perspective God's eternal nature, very clear perspective our temporal nature. We began as dust, we'll end as dust. God, however, exists from eternity to eternity. Now, today, we come to 7 through 10. And suddenly, now, it's just not that we're temporary and God is everlasting. It's that we have a sin problem to go along with our temporary nature. Let me read 7 through 10. For we are consumed by thine anger, and by thy wrath we are troubled or terrified. Thou hast set our iniquities before thee, our secret sins in the light of thy countenance. For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. The days of our years are 60 and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Again, the temporary nature of man is set here in very clear language, but there's a problem because our sins are set before an eternal God, and He's not happy about that. Verse 7 says, we are consumed by thine anger, thy wrath are we troubled. You have set our sins or our iniquities before thee, our secret sin in the light of thy countenance. So not even the thing that we think we get away with. It's our inward thought, our outward action, both that are sinful. God sees all of it. Our days are passed away in thy wrath. So the sin problem is present. What's going to happen to us? You see, we stand before a righteous God who's holy and He's eternal. We're temporary and yet sinful. So there's this huge contrast that the psalmist Moses here builds for us. And there's this beautiful picture that's told right here in the middle of this passage, verse 9. For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. Notice that, a tale. So it's just like a story, maybe a fictional thing you would tell a child, Once upon a time there lived a man named David. Well, that man named David probably did exist, but he's gone now, and he's just maybe a faded memory, just like we tell stories about King Arthur or, whoever. He existed at one time, but at this point, it's just a tale because he was here, he's gone, he's barely remembered now, and that only in tale. There's a wonderful thing that happens here in this 9th verse, and let me just share that with you. Adam Clarke, in his commentary on the Psalms, tells about the old Psalter, the English version, the old English version of this, and it has this curious paraphrase. It says, always the spiders make a vain web to take flies with guile. And our years are occupied, and even our years are also occupied in idle casts about earthly things, our cares about earthly things, and pass without the fruit of good works, and waste in idle thought. So the whole thing of being a tale that is told, the old Psalter turns that into like a spider's web. It's beautiful and it's curious, but it's frail, and it passes away before the day is done. And that's what we are, and we must admit that we are frail, we are fleeting, and although beautiful and curious while we're here, yet our sins demand judgment from an almighty and righteous God. Well, we'll see tomorrow that there is a remedy, and we'll check that out on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.